What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Gym Floor. We have special guest Jess and Loz in the house, obviously friends of the show. We didn't think Jace was coming, so we made sure we had coverage for him, and he's here. So there's 4 of us on the episode today. It was a really interesting chat. We started off attacking a bunch of business coaches, not really, and just going through like the criteria that we would have for hiring a coach and what you should look for from a business coach / mentor, and the traps that people may or may not fall in based on the current market of what that looks like. Then we jumped into just a few concepts around creating content and how you might be able to just personalize your content a little bit more, make it a little bit more interesting. I know a lot of people are finding it really hard with reach, engagement, and growth right now. So yeah, we delve into that and had an interesting chat about some ways that you might be able to do that. Don't forget, as always, to subscribe to the podcast. Really helps get this out, and obviously reminds you when awesome episodes come out and you see the topics and you're going to want to listen. Lastly, we still have available, they might be in scarce supply right now, but go check it out. You can, when you apply for the Standout PT course, you get a 45-minute business coaching call with me where we look at your biggest issue in your business and try and solve it right there and then. If I do a good job, then we talk about Standout PT. If I fail, then you don't even have to hear the offer. So jump on the website, check out the Standout PT page at stcfit.com. You'll be able to find it and apply for that. That is all. Enjoy the episode, and we'll see you next time.
This feels like a campfire chat.
It's very moody.
Yeah. It's much nicer on my eyes.
We should do a campfire chat episode.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Like a Friday night, and we'll make these vodkas.
Yeah.
Oops. We did joke. Have you got any good scary stories? We did joke about doing
We should do a drinking episode.
A Rogan episode with...
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so down.
I'm already, yes.
Yes.
It'd be fun.
We could easily talk shit for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
Especially if we're drinking.
Especially if you add substances into
100%.
No, you guys don't.
Actually,
you guys don't need that.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Jace goes quiet.
When I drink?
No.
Fuck off.
Not when you're drinking.
No chance.
When the Joe Rogans come out.
We listened to the
No, fuck them, Tam. They didn't reply to me.
What's that?
Padre.
The Padre.
The coffee.
They ignored my DM.
Ben's trying to be a pick-me and really get noticed by Padre.
Yeah, which I've been trying to get sponsorship by just talking about them and just assuming that they'll see it.
Yeah.
And then I tagged them on my story and they replied and shared my story for their own marketing.
Yeah.
So then I sent them the 2 YouTube clips of us talking about their product.
Yeah.
They didn't even open it.
Rude.
Yeah, fuck them. Not going to review your coffee.
You're still going to drink it?
It's delicious, though.
It is really good.
What are we working with, though?
This is a really
It's
nice
too much word.
Too much word.
Are we guessing what it is?
Too much word.
No, you only have to read 3.
Yeah.
TLDR.
Every single one.
Too much word.
Blackcurrant, blackberries,
Indonesia.
cacao, and lemon.
I'm a big cacao fan.
Yeah.
I'm a big coffee fan.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm
Caffeine in general.
I like the beans.
Yeah.
Coffee beans.
Yeah.
My favourite.
I'm a big Vietnamese coffee fan also. Does add to my week.
Will you guys drink instant coffee?
I'm just like the furthest thing away from a coffee snob there is.
So you'll do the international
yes.
roast?
Yeah.
Double
like,
teaspoon.
I'm staying with mum and dad at the moment, and like dad's making coffee in the morning. And
Yeah.
yesterday he was like, "So how was yesterday's coffee?" I was like, "Dad, I don't know. It was caffeine and it was good. Like
Yeah.
I don't have
I'll have instant coffee
I don't
for
have
sure.
thoughts on
I'd
it.
rather have caffeine than not have it.
Mm.
But then if I go somewhere and it's bad because I have it iced,
Yeah.
it's very evident when they fuck up a coffee or the flavor is like very evident in an iced coffee. Like,
Yeah.
I will be a coffee
Gotta
snob.
have shit beans. If you have shit beans, then your
Iced
coffee's
coffee
black
just
or-
tastes
yeah.
like tar.
Yeah.
But I'll drink anything.
We don't own instant coffee in our home.
I haven't bought instant coffee since I was...
Sometimes, like,
Ever.
Steph's parents come home and they're like, is it okay if we have a coffee? Because they, like, don't care for coffee.
Yeah.
And then they know that, like, I have, like, all these beans and shit. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's my love language.
This
Yeah.
brings me joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that filth is not going to be sitting in the cupboard waiting for you.
Yeah.
That instant trash.
And Loz and I like just inject it into our
Yeah.
beans.
Yeah.
That's what pre-workout's for, though.
Loz really offends me when she has coffee in my house,
Yeah.
if I'm honest.
So it's
Why?
You gotta have.
So I have my espresso machine set up to make short blacks.
Yeah.
So it's like
'Cause
an
that's
extra
you.
shot
Yeah.
of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Loz is like, can I have some more hot water?
Yeah.
So she goes from just the short black that
To
kind
the
of
long.
tastes like coffee that's just like now watered down coffee. It really hurts my feelings.
I mean, I just
It's
I
called
like
Because it's going to be a long
prolonging it.
black, it has to have 2 shots in it at least. So you
Mm.
can
Well,
still
then maybe we
taste.
needed to do 2 short blacks and then I'll add water.
Does yours have the double shot Scoopy thing you put in it?
It does.
Yeah.
But like, I would have to change.
Yeah.
That to
It's too
just
much
to
effort.
make.
You're like,
Loz's
I'll make
coffee.
you a coffee, but I'm not happy about it.
Correct.
Every morning.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I like.
And
Have
then
your
I'm like-
coffee and your
then I'm
fish
like,
heads.
Can I have some can I have some honey? He's like, for fuck's sake, like you're just ruining it.
Yeah, low key, I'm on the honey train.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, every morning now.
I'm not good till you try it.
Yeah, 'cause
No.
it's supposed to be good for your hay fever as well, and I haven't had hay fever since I started doing it.
Wow.
But
It's also
I don't know if that
But
was
it's
seasonal.
also not pollen.
I was just about to say.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that was seasonal, but it tastes pretty
It's
good.
also April.
Yeah, that's
It was
obviously
the honey.
started in November, but I think we're already past the window.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
summer. Yes.
When were you here? Yeah, that was November. I
Yeah.
bought that honey.
Try it in September.
Well, I'm giving myself a whole year.
You're
Building up that immunity.
Building it up. I could not. No, I am just like Vietnamese coffee, like condensed milk and coffee is the only thing I'll add in my coffee.
Mm.
Black coffee is the only way to drink coffee.
Yeah. You
I
had me
had,
you
like,
had me
3
doubting
sweeteners.
myself about my sugar in my long mac after the last episode.
Oh, yeah?
Because you were like, oh, so you still have the same amount of sugar. And I was like, oh, fuck, when am I not supposed to? So then I only had half, like a little bit. And I was like,
No, I just
No, this is
lolled
shit.
at the. I just lolled at the fact that the
The
serum
volume.
is less.
yeah.
Right? But you still had the same amount of sugar.
Yeah, because it's still the same amount of sweetness required.
Yeah.
Because
The milk doesn't
offsets
change
the
anything.
bitterness.
The milk doesn't change
Yeah, but there's
anything.
still less volume in the cup. So that means that the sugar ratio is going to be
Yeah.
higher.
Yeah, look, I have a little less.
Yeah.
But
I just lolled at it. I just thought it was funny.
I went
I just
too
think
much.
it's funny.
I went too much less because I was like,
I'm
fucking
having a macchiato.
Jason,
It's super sweet.
Jason fucking judged me, so I'm going to have less sugar.
I'll never judge you for sweetness. I had 3 sweeteners to my coffee.
Good
No.
God.
I wrecked the sweetener.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm going. I took 10 years off my lifespan with sweetener.
Pet peeve is when I go to a cafe and I'm like, oh, can I add, 3 sweeteners? And they're like, oh, we don't have sweetener, but we have honey. I'm like, you don't understand what the goal is here.
Yeah.
It's no calories.
Yeah.
And
I
that
don't like,
doesn't-
if you don't have sweetener, that cafe's dead to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck
You
off.
don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, or like sometimes, because Steph has to have like lactose free milk. So I'm like, do you have lactose free milk? They're like, no. I'm like,
It's 2024, sir.
what happens with all the other people who shit themselves if they
Yeah.
drink
Yeah.
coffee,
They have to
drink
have
milk?
oat
Yeah.
milk.
Yeah. And they're like, oh,
Oat
we've
milk's
got,
fucking trash.
they're like, oh, we've got soy milk. I'm like, no.
no.
No. There's milk out there that exists that has no lactose in it.
Yeah.
And it tastes like normal
Yeah.
We
milk.
solved
Look,
this problem.
Go and fucking buy it.
I know Zimmel's $3 a litre, but
That's-
fucking get some.
I'll pay for it. I'll pay the
Yeah.
extra.
Well,
It's
you
like
have to
75
anyway.
cents more. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
make it back and some.
Zimmel
Yeah.
gets you.
You
man.
know,
you remember
uh,
how
Zimmel gets you.
remember how I was not looking at the price of lettuce and shit? Fucking Zimmel gets me.
Yeah.
we have
it's-
to drink lactose free in our house for my wife.
Yeah, okay.
And it's $6 for 2 litres.
I'm
I'm looking at like light milk. I'm like, can't we just
Yeah.
get that one?
pretty fortunate.
like-
My digestive system's
Yeah.
optimally
I'm okay with
functioning.
it too.
Dairy.
My wife, not so much.
Yeah, it sucks for you.
Yeah.
This is totally off topic, but it's very
Cool.
funny.
So that topic was starting to be
my new
stretched.
toxic trait is reading the residence page on Facebook.
Oh, don't
Oh,
do that
love
to yourself.
that.
Nah, I
Love
fucking
that,
love it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Reading
so
the what?
the residence page. So there's like a group of
You don't
everyone
know what
who
a
lives.
residence page is? Oh my god.
Yeah, so when you live in an
the
area,
best.
you join the residence page,
Right.
and I only join it.
Is this an old people thing?
No, I joined it
Yes.
for fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a
well, yeah,
Facebook thing, so
absolutely,
yes.
it's so good. So, so all it is a bunch of people complaining about shit,
It's
and
where
then other
all
people,
the Karens live.
yeah.
Amazing.
My friend used to just roast people.
So that's I go in there just to read those comments.
Yeah.
and watch the other people get upset. So like this dude, like I don't know, he obviously was just having a bad day, and he got upset about the fact that like last weekend was public holiday every day, and he's just like, I don't know when it happened, but why is Sunday or Saturday a public holiday? And then someone was like, if you've been alive for the last 40 years, like it's been a public holiday
Yeah.
every week, every year.
Yeah.
And then someone like screenshotted like the business of Victoria, and they're like, "Yep, still a public holiday." And then like 30 comments down, this person goes, "It's not too late to delete this post."
You can still back out.
Oh man,
I
so
like
good.
I now don't watch reels. I just read real comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've found myself in comment sections lately.
This is not something I've ever done.
Just don't read the YouTube ones, especially
Instagram.
ours.
Instagram now is getting toxic. man.
Really?
Yeah.
It's taken on TikTok culture, and like I look
It's the
at
old Facebook
Why
culture.
do I feel so behind? I'm not aware of this.
because
Probably
it's
just
like,
doing shit.
Yeah. You actually follow the rules of create more content than you consume.
Yeah. Every now and then, though, I'm just like, fuck, this is so much fun.
Yeah.
yeah,
Comments about what?
Anything.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Anything.
The broad
So
question.
did you read the comments on that Mustang video I sent you?
No.
So that guy wins marketing of the year.
oh,
Oh, that's so
Amazing.
funny.
It's
Yeah.
incredible. So for context, this guy basically recorded a video selling a Mustang to. The opening line is,
Yeah.
"Are you divorced?
yeah.
Are you over 40,
over 40
divorced,
divorced? Yeah.
and looking for a new car?" And then did a full like it's hard top, so your bald head won't get
Yeah.
sunburned,
Yeah.
and like your dodgy knee won't hurt
Yeah.
because it's auto and shit. It was fucking
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
brilliant.
Yeah, because you used to be good at footy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So true.
And it was like
And then all of those men,
Yeah.
all of the Gregs,
Yeah.
was so upset.
just got so they're like, this is terrible, and he was like, well, we don't think so. Like, we sold the car, and like they were sassy
Yeah.
replying back from the business
Amazing.
page.
It was a perfect lesson in like, if you're not willing to upset some people, no one will love you.
Yeah.
Because it was just straight down the middle. Everyone was like, this is the best, and
Yeah.
I want to buy this car just because of this ad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, oh my God, that's so like
offensive.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
It's because middle-aged men have never had the right to be offended about anything.
Yeah.
They're like, what
yeah.
is this?
It's our time. It's our time.
Yes. Yes. I can be a victim now.
Yeah. Give me another 8 years and I'll
Both
be like,
of my knees hurt.
yeah.
It's not just one.
Yeah, I felt seen. Because I was like, oh yeah, hard top for my head. I like it.
Yeah, because it was like when you're taking like your sneaky link or like whatever, like the miso, the side miso, and your bald patch and blah. I was like,
It's great.
yeah.
Very, very good.
Not one comment related to me. I still wanted the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there
It was
was
yellow, though.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
I would have
Yeah.
taken it.
one of the
Oh, yeah?
comments was I dropped my Subaru WRX off there last week.
I saw that.
I can't wait for this video of that car. Yeah, I can't wait either. I want to follow
Oh.
them, even though they're in like Townsville or something, just to see the review, because that one will be savage too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because it's kind of the same demographic at this point.
Maybe
Buying-
just a bit younger.
buying
but
an old WRX, like us maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Topics. I
Trainer things.
don't have a good segue.
increasing your IQ by being prepared.
I am prepared. Actually,
He's
I-
increasing it at the moment as we're on.
It's actually loading.
I wrote them down. And I didn't even write this one down. I'm just gonna hand it over to our guest,
Statement.
Oh.
who messaged me a really interesting question last week that Jace has not been prepared for at all. So I'm just gonna get you to ask him
Oh, Jesus.
What
Why
you-
do fucking throw me under the
what
bus
you
all the
asked
time?
me.
Because you don't have the IQ point.
And
I'm
then
not
we'll-
going to make it
That's 'cause
gender
I'm
specific
savage.
like I did on the...
He wants
Nah,
me
do
to
it.
offend people.
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
My question, and I'm probably paraphrasing myself, was what are... I specified female, but it's probably both female and male. What are business coaches actually selling? Because there was like a bit of context. I was like, it feels like, and I'm probably going to get cancelled for this, it feels
Slay.
like a somewhat pyramid scheme in terms of like, I'm selling, and this isn't all business coaches, but it's like, I'm going to teach you how to make a successful business, but the only business that I have is telling people how to create a successful business.
Yeah.
And then it's like they sell that to other coaches
Yeah, who then?
who then sell it to other
Yeah,
coaches.
yeah.
And I was just kind of like, what's the product?
The best part was like, who's the client?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah. I
was
where's
It's a really fair question.
who are we selling to?
Yeah. And that's been the big red flag for us is looking not when we look at people who we would want to be mentored by, because there's obviously levels now. We wouldn't want someone who only does the telling people what to do as their main service, unless they had a business and sold it for
Correct.
a lot of money.
Yes.
So if you're such a good business coach, why wouldn't you have a business already that's doing the things that you said you tell
Yes.
other people to do? And that's
The
that
evidence.
you've been able to put under management because you're
Yeah.
actually good
Yeah,
at
that's
all
it.
the stuff you say you're good at, like
Yeah.
systems and
I
You
think-
scaled it enough to step away, and
Yeah.
other people are operating it for you. Amazing.
You
Yeah.
have something that is sellable. Your business is in a position that it's sellable, whether you sell it or
Yeah,
not.
and that's been like if you look at the timeline of some quote unquote business coaches, it's like personal training got too hard, and they didn't know what to do next. So then, telling other people how they got busy is the next step,
Yeah.
and then they ditch the personal training part and then just do that, and then it's like, well,
and the price point's higher
Well,
too.
I was going to say, I also think that the thing is, it's like, okay, say if they were in it can be any industry, but if they were in like the fitness industry and they were making X amount, and then they started to go into business coaching, and then they're like, oh, I started making all this money. It's because, well, now you're not coaching Gen Pop anymore. You're coaching other coaches, and now you're selling coaching for $3,000
yeah, absolutely,
based off no one valuing it at $3,000. I think we're kind of getting into this mindset of like, just because someone paid it means that is what it's worth.
yeah,
And I mean, the client at the end of the day will be able to tell that person like what it's worth, right?
Yeah.
But I also think that people get in this like personal development, professional development like addiction, where it's like, oh, I'm investing all of this money in coaching. It's like, well, show me what happened as a result of that.
oh, absolutely.
That's the language. Yeah, that's the trap of it, because people advertise it as investing in themselves.
I don't
now
know
and
why-
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and a lot of people are buying the persona and the image of other people, thinking that they're going to get that.
Yeah.
So like they like the energy and the vibe that this said person has.
Yeah.
So they think purchasing whatever product it is going to get them that, and
Yeah.
that's not necessarily what they're going to get.
Yeah.
It's
And
a-
They're just going to get that person's company for a period of time that they've paid for.
I think that like this isn't even like an attack. The reason I think this is an important point of discussion is because like trainers see these numbers on Instagram of like, you know, I had a 30K day and blah blah blah,
Which
and
is
like,
multiplied by the minimum term
That's-
and the
yeah.
lifetime value of the client. So it's not a 30K day, but yeah.
And I think it's a very slippery slope into like self-comparison, right? It's like,
Absolutely.
oh, well, I'm seeing all of these business coaches and they're teaching other coaches how to be business coaches, and it's just like, are we even helping anyone anymore, to start off with?
Yeah.
But second, it's like, I think we just need to look at it through an accurate lens as well. So it's not to try and tear those people down. If you are doing what you say you are doing, then my comments will mean nothing to you.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of PTs will probably look at all of these people and be like, I'm not doing well enough. Or maybe I should pay them and they'll be able to teach me how to run my business. And it's like, well, they might be able to teach you how to be a business coach, but I don't know if they'll be able to teach you how to like run
Yeah.
a business.
But like, and we spoke about like what Jay said in terms of how they come up with that figure. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I didn't even like know
No.
that's how they do it.
Correct.
And we
Yeah.
spoke about a trainer in particular that like that was local that advertised was their business coach was marketing them as a success story, and then he was obviously like, yeah, it was super successful and like did $35,000 worth of personal training sales this week.
Yeah.
And then 2 months later started at Good Life.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah. How's
if you had
that?
35 grand on tap, training out of your garage at home and your home setup,
You wouldn't start paying rent elsewhere.
you're not going to pay Good Life 15 grand a year to get access to their leads. You'd be opening your own facility.
Yeah.
So the way they calculate that number is like Jay said, it's like work out. I don't even think it's average client lifetime
It's
value. I think it's
minimum term.
projected what I hope they stay for.
Oh, yeah. That's even
Well, because you can never
Most of the
guarantee it
time.
anyway.
Well,
Yeah.
Like,
if you're
you
gonna,
can't-
the smartest way to do that would just be to multiply the minimum term, because you can at least
That's
say that you guaranteed that.
Yeah,
the
but
yeah.
I don't think people do that because the numbers are pretty.
They're
extreme.
huge.
Looking
like,
at like you're recording this video telling me in your mum's bedroom, like how did you make 50 grand? today?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't
it
quite
doesn't add up.
add up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's,
Maybe I'm not saying they're lying, but just from an external
yeah.
view, I'm like, yeah. But essentially, what they do is they arbitrarily decide what a client's worth. Whether that's actually based on data or not sure. And then they just project that out. So it's like if you're a personal trainer and you work in a gym and you have a really good week and you put on 5 clients,
Yeah.
average client does 1.5 sessions a week, and your average price point's like
Yeah.
$90 a session. So what's that? $145
Yeah.
times 5 is
Yeah.
help
That's
$600 a week.
Help.
Yeah, I think it's
Just a
just
bit
under 700.
Yeah, so you can say I had a
$750.
$7,000,
Yeah.
like $8,000 week. off the back of that, which is amazing. The likelihood of that person staying outside of their 12 weeks is actually probably pretty high for most people. Like average retention 6. If you're experienced and you're good, it's probably 12 months. So then you can be like, oh, but most of my clients stay for 12 months.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden it's like, well, that 50 is times 52 weeks. So it's like, oh, now I had a $25,000 week. That sounds really sexy, and I can put that on the internet. Then you take your price point from, on average, $140 to whatever the coaching package is, which is 10 grand or whatever.
Yeah.
I made 3 sales today that I've been working on for a
45K
month.
in a week.
So now I've done this exponential sale, but I still have to go provide the service, and I can't do that tomorrow because I'm still capped.
Yeah.
It's also important to consider, we mentioned earlier in terms of business, like to sell a business, you're only worth what your consistent debits are.
Yeah.
And for how long that is. So someone walks in like an actual business person walks into a gym, they eradicate your paid in fulls.
Yeah. And all of the equipment that's over 5 years old.
Yeah.
It's worth
nothing. All we're interested in is how many people do you have paying every single week?
Yeah.
And how long are they contracted for?
And what's the trend been over the last 3 years?
And that's what your business is worth.
Yeah.
So putting this arbitrary, I made this,
It's
cool,
not what
but it's
you're
not worth anything.
Yeah.
No one else
Yeah.
believes your business is like the $1 million business coach thing. It's gone from 6 figures to $1 million lately. Apparently.
Fucking every second person's making 7 figures. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a lie.
It's apparently a
it's a
thing now.
lie.
That's
So-
an absolute lie.
Yeah, that threw me off. So now it's like, well, no. You just selling $1 million worth of shit, let's say that you actually did, doesn't make your business worth $1 million.
Yeah.
Having $1 million in predictable, repeatable revenue, now it might be worth $1 million.
Yeah. I also think with the, putting a number on a day, right? As a consumer, it feels like, oh, I got paid $30,000 for 8 hours of work. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Nah.
no.
Yeah.
Like if you have, say, been working on a course or something for 3 months and then you sell 3 spots into it and you made $30,000 or whatever, however much, $3,000, call it $1,000 course. You've made $3,000 over 3 months.
Yeah.
Like that's not a lot.
Yeah.
But people don't see the like, oh, I worked on it for all of this time. Like if I've developed a course or whatever and I sell it, I'm like, well, I'm probably running at a loss to be fair because I put 3 months of work into this kind of thing. But so like when people are seeing that, it's like, this is not time for money anymore that we're talking about.
So what also happens is, and where there's probably a big disconnect is like, if you've never invested in marketing, so 99% of personal trainers, maybe they've hit the boost button and like thrown $5 at shit, like, but they haven't really gone out and done a deliberate paid ad strategy. When you do that, you start to look on actual client lifetime value because it's a really important metric. So we've got a campaign starting on Fit for the first time. We've never really spent on that side of the business. And it's like we sat here last week and went, right, this is when we get this many trials, we get this many conversions. When we get the conversions, they stay for this long. And when we pay all our Apple fees and we pay this, this is how much is left over. So if we spend this is what we need to get on the back end.
Yeah.
And we need to know if we're going to do it, that's going to come back to us.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if it's a multiple of 2, 3, 4, 5, next time, that's when we go, all right, turn that dial up.
Yeah.
We actually did it last quarter. The end of this quarter, I did a review and we'd stopped some spend on this side of the business and just watched the metrics just tail down consistently on the other side of it. And we're like, fuck. We were spending $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And it was on the back end costing us $6,000 a month by not having it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So we were like, oh, go back and
turn
spend
it
the
on, turn
fucking
it back on.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks expensive to spend the $1,000, but if the revenue's up 6x, it's an absolute no-brainer to do that.
Yeah.
So then I know we're not, for myself, we stand out. If I have, say, for example, put through 10 sales, well, it's like, okay, that equals this amount of money. I think the price is on the website now. So it's like, that's $50K in sales. Because I'm thinking we spent our trip to Queensland, the expo fee, like the marketing, whatever it is, I'm looking and going, cool, so we made this on the back end and this is what we spent to accrue that. That is either in a positive or it's in a negative. Yep. So when you're a business coach and you're starting to learn all these things and do all that sort of stuff, you do, like, to play devil's advocate, you do have the thought of that equals this much revenue.
Absolutely.
But we still have to run, like you said, all the courses and all of that. For us, to being in a group situation, it's kind of a bit different because it feels like you're just showing up anyway.
Yeah.
And like the course has been
Yeah.
done, still modified. So we're just like, oh, I've got to be there on Tuesday.
But that's
It
also
either-
taken into consideration in the course design, right? You're like, okay,
Yeah.
this is going to cost X amount and it's not going to cost us any more to have more people on. Like, that's a choice.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, like, those things all play in, and I don't think, like, I think it's just really disingenuous to lie about it. And then I also think the reason we don't post about it and be like, I've actually got a campaign that I'm going to do on, like, deliberately satire on the other side and be like, this is the campaign we ran to make $50,000, and actually explain the concept that I'm going to now, which is our price point is 5x what most personal trainers' minimum term is. So divide your business coaches win by 5 because
Yeah.
that's your minimum term value per sale. So that already, like you said, that comparison is like, oh fuck, okay.
Yeah.
The
They
minimum
made
term is also
yeah. If
X
they
amount
made
of
30
duration.
grand, I only have to make whatever, like $600 or 6,000. So that's one. Then it's like, well, how did you accrue that? And it's like you said, maybe 3 months went into a marketing campaign that took time, that took creation, that then took spend. I think the best one I've seen is like $1 million of potential revenue generated.
Oh.
And I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Put that
Living
on
on
your
hopes and dreams.
Yeah, it was
so
just
then-
like every opt-in on a Facebook ad, calculate how much their lifetime value could be if they bought your premium product
Well, let's
and
just-
paid in full.
Let's just multiply every time someone visits the website by our premium price point then.
Every
Sure,
time
that's
every time
The
I
podcast listeners, like, just, where do you fucking stop? Like,
every time I get a story view, multiply that by
Yeah,
the
it could
fact
be a
that
client.
yeah. At the end of the day, the only things that matters, we have what we call a God document. It has every outgoing, every income stream on it, and there's a little
Every-
box up in the corner that says revenue, profit,
Yeah.
profit for distribution.
Yeah.
Those numbers are the only ones that matter.
Yeah.
Like what you did on a day is fucking irrelevant.
Yeah, the money's going to
Yeah.
land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of personal trainers actually doing far better than the business coaches that are paying, that are promoting that and thinking like, fuck, I'm failing. It's like, bro, you're making $3,000 a week.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, what was the stat I sent you? The average
The average person that makes over 100, around 100K, I think it was.
55 hours a
55
week.
hours a week.
Yeah.
So if you're a
55
personal
hours for
trainer
100K.
doing 30 hours,
Yeah, it's 100K is easy.
taking
as PT.
150, like, fuck, man. You're doing really, really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Jay said, in terms of what I would advise other people to do, and for myself, like I've had my eyes open for a mentor for about 6 months, maybe longer, but it's like I cannot find someone that ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
It's like either have sold up or still continue to run a business. For me, it's like married, successful marriage and family.
It's going to be a real tough
So
pull now.
there's everyone in fitness
And-
gone. And still running some kind of business that's not just coaching.
Yeah.
And their business is over 7 figures.
Yeah.
And it's like I cannot find that anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's the whole idea of like what Jay said. Often people are buying the persona, the lifestyle.
The energy of that
charisma.
person. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, usually they're good
It's,
looking.
it's
and-
appeal, you
Yeah.
know, and that's why they
Yeah.
lean into it. It's probably why we fail miserably at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we
sell a product.
yeah, I don't wear a fucking suit that's hired and stand in front of a car that I don't own.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Market
thing,
the
right?
shit that I can't afford just to sound successful, you know.
Yeah. So it's making sure that the person that you're paying has done the thing you want to do.
Correct.
Yeah. They have to have what you want.
What you want.
Yeah.
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 And a lot of that is like, for me anyway, is like values driven as well. It's like I don't want someone who's constantly showing me how. I want people to still be able to be like, I did this thing or I bought this thing and it's making me really like happy or whatever, or I worked really hard, blah blah blah. But I think that can't be like your entire story.
Yeah.
Like there has to be a bit more like depth or like integrity or that kind of thing. And so it's like if all like the bells and whistles and stuff is what draws you in to want to work with someone,
Mm.
probably need to ask yourself like why that is. Like why is that the thing that you want?
It's like, do you want to look successful or be successful?
Yeah. And I think these conversations is not to kind of like call anyone out or do anything. I think it's just to provide like context for like the social media consumers, especially like trainers and stuff as well.
Yeah.
To be like, as you said, like you don't know that car's theirs. And it's not to get super cynical either, to be like everyone's a liar, because like maybe they're not.
Yeah.
But I think the most important point is that you'll never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They still, I think, no matter what, every person who's mentoring someone should have what the person wants.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if they want a business, that person's business, they should have a business too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because if they were good at it, like that's the only thing I would say for anyone looking for some help. It's like, if you were good at whatever you said what you're telling other people to do, then you would have that.
Yeah.
So you got to have a business. You
Yeah.
it can't be coaching business,
Correct.
like telling mentoring. It's like that doesn't count.
That's not a.
It's not a
product.
scalable. That's It's like, you just woke up one day and went, I'm just going to tell people what to do because I didn't want to do it myself. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
That's the thing from like
Or I wasn't willing to do it for the return that is online
Yeah,
coaching.
so now I'm gonna
at
tell other
$80
people-
a week, so I'm
Correct.
going to do it at $200 a week
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
business coach.
So I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing. If people are, if you're trying to eliminate, like, who's a person that maybe I should look towards and maybe not, that's the biggest one in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think from like the personal trainer point of view as well, I see a lot with like the business or the money mindset or that kind of thing. It's like coaching someone in this realm is not just telling them to put their prices up. Because I think sometimes people
We get that all the time.
people
Every
get
time we
stuck.
present somewhere,
Yeah.
they're like, it's so refreshing to not just have a business coach come in and say, all of you put your prices up by $20. So it's not fucking based on what? That's not business coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially trainers like first starting out, right? It's like, no, you have to know that your value. If you are brand
Yeah.
new to the industry, you can't be charging a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
Because
to be
you're not-
confident in whatever you charge too, and that,
Yeah.
you've got to build that value
Yeah.
and that confidence together to go, yep, cool, it's this much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some people get stuck where they've been in the industry a little bit and then they don't want to, increase their prices, and that's a different story.
Yeah, it's hard because that's, I think, for a business coach, that's where it gets stuck, because
Yeah.
you can say, like, I improved this person's income
Yeah.
by 2x
Yeah.
or by 50% in a week.
Yeah.
It's like, because you just put
You
their
just put their
prices
prices
up
up,
because
yeah.
they were in the game for
needed
2
permission.
years. They hadn't put it up. And they just needed someone exactly to give them permission and hold their hand and be like, it's okay. No one's going to leave.
Yeah.
Put your
Yeah.
price up by $10 because you're way too cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wow, that's all I have to do. I just made this person $20 across 40 clients. It's a substantial amount of increase.
And that's because, so this is a manifestation of like the gap that like people are aware of now. Like, we obviously identified that gap ages ago because we were personal trainers. So we're like, I knew nothing about business. Zero.
Yeah.
So it was money in a shoebox. Fucking, I was lucky someone told me to do direct debit.
Yeah.
So there's just no business awareness. And then Ben had a little bit more than me. And then
but
we kind
still not much.
but there was enough for us to become aware. And we had some pretty good mentors along the way, like who were our PT managers at the time that kind of helped us.
Yeah.
So then we were like, cool, well, we need to set this up and fill this gap.
Yeah.
So the reality of it is, it's not hard to learn surface level business,
Yeah.
where it's like the generic, put your prices up, make sure you're on direct debit so there's repeated payments.
Post about your target market.
Yeah, to identify like
Engage with people online.
that stuff is surface level shit. So it is easy for someone to come in and tell people how to do that. I would argue that that has an expiry date, and then after that, like, they can't take that person to the next level.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of people getting around just like, like, when you write your content, do you think about a specific person? Like, basic level finances and reading profit loss sheets and blah, blah, blah. Like, that stuff's not hard. And that's why there's so many of them.
Yeah.
But most of those people, so then add the filter. So it's like, how do I filter out the good and the bad? The best ones, I would argue, have either sold a business or still have an external business to whatever that is that they're teaching.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to filter that shit.
Yeah. That's further along than yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you just do the surface level stuff and then just move to someone else that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
takes you to another level.
Yeah. Do you think that like this
Bless you.
bless you.
Excuse me.
Hopefully Tam
Tam put that in.
Yeah.
We just have wide shots now. It's permanent.
Just sneezes
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Do you think this kind of like money messaging in terms of, I made X amount or anything like that is making new PTs impatient?
Well, I think social
Definitely.
media is making new
Yeah.
new or inexperienced coaches impatient, because
Yeah.
Ben and I have always spoken about the fact that, like, it was probably a bit of a blessing that we couldn't see what other people were doing when we were younger,
Yeah.
because we were just in the gym doing shit, and no one really ever shared what was happening. Like, I think I've said it a million times. I was just like, what? Instagram's for photos? It's fucking stupid.
Dumb idea.
So then, yeah, we're if we use the training analogy, it's the best example. You look at someone who's got, exceptional levels of muscle mass, strength, looks, but you don't see their 10 to 12 years of work done. You're just like, well, why don't I look like that after 6 months, 18 months? And it's like, well, you're looking at someone who's, 30 years old, who's been training since they're 18.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a manifestation of work. And they're doing the same thing now. They look at Ben and myself, and it's like, family, cars, holidays, houses, and lifestyle, because we don't have to go to the gym. And they're just like, well, why don't I have that right now? And it's like, well, we were boots on the ground for 10 years in the gym. And it's not to say that you have to do boots on the ground for 10 years in the gym. But you got to do some fucking time.
Correct.
Like, all of it is like, even if you took all of our experience and knowledge, you may get, 50% of that. But they're not even willing to do that.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, well, I just want it now. Because I can see it sounds good.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got people who lean into that as well. Like, I don't really lean into, I don't have an alarm, and I have a nice house, and I have this, and I can buy whatever the fuck I want. Like, I don't lean into that shit at all. It's just like, what do you need to do to be the best personal trainer you can, and what do you need to do to make the best business that you want out of it?
Yeah, and there's definitely stuff too that like we look at and you're like, it's probably holding us back.
Oh, no, it definitely is.
Not
And it's
dropping-
morally,
Yeah, we spoke about
It's
this
really
too. We were
challenging.
like, this fucking integrity bullshit.
it's so hard to just like, sometimes I'm just like, fuck, man, why don't I just show it off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I could do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just like,
Why don't you?
because it's just not a representation of what you need to do.
Yeah. Correct.
Like, you just need to do the fucking work.
Yeah.
It's not
Like-
actually going to benefit someone else's life knowing what
No,
you have.
not at all.
It's not going to give them any.
Yeah, you just need to do
Then you'll attract the wrong person too.
Yeah,
right?
well, the other thing as well is that it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to work with that type of person.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
Like, we don't connect.
Yeah.
Because
Process versus outcome.
Yeah.
and look, the other thing as well is obviously, like, growing up, Ben and I had a similar upbringing, and it was not like we didn't have much.
Yeah.
So I don't think I can go now and be that person and go, yeah, look at me.
Yeah.
But I can show someone, we can show someone who you can go from here to here.
Yeah.
No problem if you want to put the work in.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk about it. People know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, people see the like, and it's not a flex. It's just like, I'm out with my wife. It's like, fuck, that's a nice wherever you are. Or it's like 10 a.m. on a Monday.
I was going to say, that's a nice Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, it's like those type of things that people notice anyway. You don't need to be like, you can fucking work from a cafe in Paris whenever you want
You don't have to put a
like,
call to action on the next slide.
No, yeah.
Yeah, it's also like just mixed messaging. Like, I saw one the other day. It was like, are you trading time for money as a personal trainer? It's like, yeah, that's every
that's
personal
the
trainer.
gig. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still trade time for money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm an online
It doesn't
coach.
happen without me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like everyone is. So I
Yeah.
just can't stand. I don't want to fall into the umbrella of it, like that charlatan. So I never want to speak that way.
Good
And
word.
I never want to be even thought of in the same kind of sentence as someone like that.
Yeah.
And I think because we started out, like Jace's term was perfect. It's like, what's the gap? Like, we saw personal trainers that were failing, and
Yeah.
we were like, this is what they need to not fail. And that's how what is now Standout PT started in 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a problem here that we can fix. And then we continue to get feedback from clients, consults, social media of what the problems are. And that's how we build the thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, how do I monetize this the best way possible?
Yeah.
How do I solve these problems that
Yeah.
these people have? And
Yeah.
that's why you still have that integrity.
Yeah,
Like
which
And 3 businesses and a full booked coaching
yeah,
list.
a gym coming.
Yeah,
all the-
no alarm in the morning, spendable income, nice cars, holidays. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, Jason.
I feel like this side of like business coaching, what you're talking about, these people, it's like we're going back through on the fitness side. It's like people calling things toned or like toning up, like that simplification of language. It's your 12-week challenge
It's
coach.
the 12-week challenge.
It's the 12-week challenge coach.
Yeah.
Not running them well. Like that coach in the business world.
Yeah. And it's you promote the 2 outcomes you got and then attract the next 10.
Yeah. And I think like I'm like so new into the mentoring and consulting world. Like it's been it's been 18 months being on this side, but going into my 10th year in the industry now, like seeing right through it from where I'm at now. Cause like I absolutely have been that person that's compared myself to people online.
Yeah.
Like my thing was watching a acquaintance go through like challenges as a client and then go into being an online coach and charging $10 more per week than I did.
Yeah.
From like going through that,
Yeah.
now doing mentoring.
Yeah.
And so even still now, like I look at that and I'm like, I twitch.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like people are still doing that. But then conversations like this that like grounds you and brings you back down to earth to be like, okay, cool. Like what really matters here? The revenue, what you're sitting on, like the integrity, everything behind you, the lifestyle, not having to have my kid in childcare, like all of those things that aren't gloated on. But yeah, these conversations like still open up my eyes despite being in it.
Maybe I just don't post mine because it's not sexy anymore.
I think
Thinking about it the other day, I was
It's
like,
normal.
I used to be able to like flex my Merc, and now I flex that my wife doesn't work.
it's still a flag.
But it's also
You know what I mean?
flex,
It's like
yeah, but it's also just normal.
27-year-olds, 25-year-old me then didn't give a fuck about that. I was like, show me the nice car.
Yeah.
I think like the reason that I feel so like passionately about this topic itself in terms of like social media and what is out there and that kind of thing is that I know that like anyone, whether it's new personal trainer or anyone like just starting to try to be whatever they define as successful, they get to like 4, 5, 6 months and they're like disappointed because they thought it would be easier.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then they stop.
Yeah.
And it's just, you can't, no one wants to work hard anymore. And it's like, we're getting this messaging, you know, about, you know, the putting the prices up and stuff like that. It's like, you have to make yourself valuable and worth that price first, which takes time and takes, you know, maybe training people for free at the start, training your friends, like going to workshops, like all of that stuff. Like everyone's just in a huge rush because we're told that it can be done quickly.
Yeah.
And like the message, even in my corporate job, it's like everyone spends more time running away from work or spending time trying to figure out how to do it 20% faster. That if you just stopped spending that time trying to shortcut it, you'd be fucking
It'd be
further
done.
along.
Yeah, you'd probably be finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the like, I don't know if you had like high school jobs, but like mine was in Coles. It's like I used to work with guys that just tried to look busy the whole time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, you know, it's actually easier to just
do
fucking
the work.
do it.
Yeah, you don't have to
Correct.
look at your clock every fucking half an hour 'cause
And
you're
then
doing shit.
after 3
Yeah.
months of doing that, or maybe 6 months of doing that, like my boss just stopped looking.
Yeah.
And he was just like, Ben always does work. And
Yeah.
he has a faster rate, like a cage rate.
Yeah.
Had a faster cage rate than everyone else. It's like,
Yeah.
cool, so I can just fuck off for half an hour when I'm only supposed to have 10 minutes. No one cares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The work's getting done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. And like what you were explaining there, like that 12-week challenge cycle of fat loss fast, and that's exactly the same human behavior. But it's amplified because you have, like Jay said, so much more access to other people doing it.
Yeah.
It's
You're
tough.
like, I should have that now.
Yeah, and you're referencing no different to the way we look at athletic properties and characteristics of people. You're referencing the 1%.
Yeah.
Not even. So you're
No,
looking at
yeah.
like
0.01.
yeah, everyone's looking at lifestyles of coaches, and then they're like not understanding that 99.9 out of 100 aren't living
Doing
that
that.
lifestyle or haven't done it in the time frame.
Yeah.
You know, it's like me saying so if I coach 100 people, so even if I look at my clients or like 30, there's 2 of them in 12 weeks could look like a fucking superhero. 2 out of 30. The other 28 need more time. But if I go and sit there and sell, 12 weeks to superhero,
Yeah.
and I've got 2 people to prove it, everyone's going to be like, well, why don't I?
Yeah.
Why don't I look like a superhero in 12 weeks?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think another thing that I've become really, and it's hard, man, because I'm picturing myself listening to this at 25, and I'm like, no, I just fucking want it now.
Yeah.
But like,
I'll do anything.
Yeah, I think I said to you, like, something I'm working on now is outside fitness.
Mhm.
And I said to you, I was going through a lot of like, who the fuck am I to like go tell someone else in some other industry how to do anything? And we felt it when we first got into the gyms. It was just like every new
stuff you
barrier is
feel
just like, I haven't fucking done this before. Who am I?
Yeah.
But I was able to justify it to myself and give myself the stack of proof to be like, well, 10 years of running a personal training business and consistently evolving what that personal training business looked like for 10 years is my university degree. It is my track record. It is my stack of proof. And I think I wish I could, and like I said, if I'm talking to myself at 25, I don't know if I would take this on. I'd never had anyone say it to me. But just like every obstacle you overcome is a skill that you now have to apply later.
Correct.
Yeah.
What that looks like, everyone's dream is to open the facility. It's like, well, the only reason we don't have a gym is because we don't want to vacuum the fucking floors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge liability.
So it's like we've learnt, okay, how do we get to that stage and not be the toilet cleaner, but still have a facility?
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
working towards that. And
It
it's those...
takes more time to do it that way.
Yeah.
Hire Jess.
So it's like, what lessons do we
I'll make
need
sure
to...
I'll put your name on the toilet cleaner. Right? Your special one.
Yeah, roles and responsibilities.
Gym manager.
What lessons are you learning along the way? Or if you fast track it and skip it, what did you miss?
Yeah. I also think like we always focus on the thing that we think that we want, or you know, the goal, the facility, or whatever. And an important question that most people miss is, am I willing to pay the price that it takes to get
The
there?
downside.
Because it's like you can see people on Instagram and they're posting, you know, the living by the beach or whatever. Like I get it a lot. Like as in, oh, like living in the Gold Coast must be so much fun, and you know, I just moved into a new place and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I also try to accurately articulate, like, I don't do anything through the week except work and train. I work Saturdays. So it's like,
You do a really good job of portraying what your life looks like, though.
Yeah.
In all honesty, like, even if I didn't know you personally, it's like, that wouldn't take me by surprise. Like, you work really hard, long days,
Yeah.
and only train outside.
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. And the thing
yeah.
is, it's not a flex. It's not like, oh, look at me, I'm working so hard, blah, blah, blah. What it is it's like, okay, if you say that you want the beachside apartment or like, you know, the new car, whatever, it's like, are you willing to pay the price of working 60 to 70 hours a week?
Yeah.
Most people aren't, and that's cool. But then you have to accept that within yourself and go, all right, well, I'm not going to get that thing. That's fine. But
Yeah.
you can't have both. You can't be sitting here and be like, I want the thing, I want the business, I want the 30K day or whatever. Because that 30K day might take you 2 years of figuring out how to make 30K in a day.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're not willing to pay the price, then you got to set some new goals.
Yeah.
It's the person not wanting to stick to their macros and wanting to get lean. It's
Yeah.
the same transferable shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's just like making sure that when you see the thing that you want on Instagram, maybe the person didn't tell you what it took to get there, but just try and like imagine it and be like, am I willing to do that? And if not, well, then maybe I should stop comparing myself to that outcome.
Yeah.
It also takes a certain amount of time to learn how to operate that way.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's like people have to work into it. Like a younger version of myself wouldn't be
I
able to
couldn't
take
work
this on.
hard. Yeah.
Fuck no.
Yeah, like there's just too much doubt. There would be too much worrying about what other people think.
Yeah.
I would be frozen in decision making because of that.
Yeah.
Everything would have to be perfect. So I just wouldn't be able to do it. So
Yeah.
you've got 23-year-old kids who like are looking at us going, yeah, I'd love to learn and walk, talk and act and have a lifestyle like this. Is like, I wouldn't have been able to do this at your age,
Yeah.
man. You know, like there's a bit of maturity that comes with, you know, just chipping away. And that's the time you can't give the person. You know, again, the training analogy is like the time that it takes to build the muscle mass. It's like you've got the effort, you've got the program, you've got the desire.
Yeah.
You don't have the physique yet because you just don't have the time to build it. It's like kind of as a business person, it takes it's very similar, a very similar case.
That maturity comes from the obstacles
Yeah.
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
Actually being able to face the thing.
The hits.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Quick break in the episode, guys. I just want to ask you one question. Are you running a business or are you working a job? Running a business means thinking like a business owner, having systems that do all the grindy work for you, a service that's guaranteed to get your clients results, social media and referrals that are driving business to you, and getting leads that you always close. If instead you feel like you're lost, you're stuck, you're at the mercy of your clients, you're just working another job. If that's you, you need to check out Standout PT. It's our signature education program, a 26-week online course designed to take you from working a job to actually running a business. The average coach that goes through Standout PT and completes all the modules gets a 300% increase in revenue inside their business. We have weekly workshops, weekly Q&As, and over 30 units for you to go through, all with text and video to make sure you're totally covered for everything you need in your business. Just head to stcfit.com, navigate to the Standout PT page, and book yourself a free, no obligation discovery call and see if Standout PT is right for you. Back to the show.
I also feel like, just quickly, I know we're going to wrap up soon, but
Never.
this whole, this whole like messaging about burnout, it's like, you only know when you're going to burn out.
This isn't the podcast for that.
No?
no, we hate it.
Oh, I was,
Yeah.
But this whole, I think this is another Instagram thing as well. It's like, oh, you know, like nervous system regulation and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. You need to rest. But then like, I think we're scaring all these people away from working hard.
Yeah.
It's like you need a couple burnouts to know where the fucking line is.
Absolutely. So we spoke about this probably like a month or two ago.
Yeah.
So I had a chat with a guy who's helping us with some import-export stuff overseas. Yeah. And he's 22. And he goes to me, how do I know how hard I can push myself? I was like, brother, push as hard as you can.
Push until
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah,
Till you
yeah.
can't-
He-
till you physically
yeah.
can't get out.
And he said, he's like, I'm worried about working too hard. And I'm like, you worry about that
Once you've worked too hard.
maybe once, like you know where the boundaries are.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I know how much I can lift?
Yeah.
Lift
Correct.
as much as I can.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel then we talked about this culture that comes with like, oh, this is going to happen. And it's like, how do you fucking know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's dependent on your desire. Like, and this kid's got like awesome motivations, like obligations, like to his family. It's like he's providing for his family. I'm like, brother,
Yeah, you're
like
fine.
you're going to be running off like a totally different energy to someone who's got a silver spoon with mum and dad. Like, you know, it's leave whenever you want. Like, we'll help you. We'll give you money, this and that. It's like, you don't have that, man. So
Yeah.
don't worry about listening to these people who,
Correct.
you know, are telling you like about burnout, who probably did all of the shit that they're telling you not to do, and then have gotten
get
to
there.
a position
They
to
don't
get
have
there, and then have forgotten or lost touch with what it took to get there, or don't want to tell you that because it wasn't sexy, and go, oh, this is my morning routine, and
Yeah.
this is my this, and so it's like the
Being
younger
tired's
generation's
not
like,
burnout too.
yeah, when if you like, how is it burnout if you love it,
Yeah.
That's it.
or how is it burnout?
Obligation.
Like, what if you have to put food on the table?
Yeah.
So-
That's correct.
Who gives a fuck if you're burnt out, man?
Correct.
No one's gonna eat, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm tired.
So I do my like
Sorry, guys, no food tonight. I have to take the day off.
every 4 weeks.
Meditate.
I'm doing like this, like been a dad for this long.
Yeah.
So it's like it's due next week. So I just kind of chip away at notes throughout. And we did a workshop last year, and the whole first day was about learning to. His whole theory was basically goals are useless without obligation.
Mm.
So like actually finding that something that's strong enough to, for lack of a better term, like motivation sucks, goal settings okay, and then
Obligations, everything.
obligations like the fucking thing. Most hyper successful people, the obligation comes from like a
Pain.
underlying self-loathing.
Chip,
It's fun.
a chip from somewhere.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
like really useful. But I've been watching
Until
my
it's
wife,
not.
and I'm like, my wife's ability to show up for LJ versus in her business and stuff, that was like, I'm keen to do it, but
Yeah.
not. Like, loves doing the thing, but didn't like the back end side of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah, it's like we still eat. Like, if you don't go to work, we still eat. It's fine.
Yeah.
But there's never a 2 a.m. where it's just like, you know what? I'm burnt out. I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure like Parker stomps down at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning. There's no like, sorry kid, I'm a bit burnt out today. It's like, no, I got to fucking do the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still got to show up for
Yeah,
all the
and
stuff too.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff, especially in like the personal training world. It's like, it's not fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's why, like,
know.
before, you know how you guys are like, where you're at now, you wouldn't have been able to understand at 25 and the responsibilities you have now, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think that's why, and I don't use it, but I think that's why so many people throw the parent card at other people, because they're like, oh, you just don't get it because it's like a different sense of responsibility and blah, blah, blah. Everyone's got their own in their own world, and it's like completely different. But I don't think that, that sense of obligation, like even for me, like I've always loved coaching, always like coached full time, done that. If I still haven't reached burnout now, it's like, cool, what else, like in terms of work, I'm like, now I know I'm going to push like my online coaching like way more. But it's like, cool, if you can fit parenting, it's quite an obligation. Just
I've heard
so
it's not
quickly.
negotiable.
Can't really
life.
turn that one off.
Yeah, not at
Not
2.5
today.
now. Like between that and then like coaching and then mentoring and then like fuck it, like we'll put a powerlifting prep in there. It's like I got more time. Oh, we're gonna do a fitness expo
Yeah.
and we're gonna go to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
What else can we do? Like
Yeah.
it's not until you do it and then you're like, okay,
Yeah.
everything is fine. It's all gonna be okay. What else?
Yeah. I think burnout really is just like a misalignment of either values or
Yeah, they're probably just in
goals.
it for the wrong. I would question your motivations. Like if
Yeah.
you're a small business owner
Yeah.
and you are experiencing like heavy amounts of burnout, it's like you're either like in it for the wrong reason, or you are kind of, there is cases of fucking it up.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just capping your potential because you think something may happen that may never come is a mindset that is not welcome in our business.
No.
Yeah.
So if you don't like the sound of this, then we're not really the people for you.
Yeah.
It's also
unfortunately.
like with the, I think people label it burnout when they tell themselves this is too much. And it's like, I think you have to continue to hit that. I think I've said to people over the years, probably more than 10 times, like, I may have overcommitted here.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, we'll see if I sink or swim.
You can take more then.
And then you swim and you're like, oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're experiencing burnout or you're thinking like, this is too much for me, you then go and do it and find out.
Yeah, you're just seeing where the walls are at the moment, and then you'll be able to push them out a tiny bit more.
You're
right?
going to benefit far more from the effort put in, whether it's in the outcome that you want or whether it's discovering what you're capable of that is then a transferable skill elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like you are always going to benefit more by trying to push that limit than you ever will be in a detriment by hitting your capacity.
Yeah, it's just training it up year 5 all the time, innit?
Yeah,
It's the same. It's like if you've never really failed.
correct. Yeah.
Like if you've never pushed the AMRAP, you don't know.
Yep.
You don't
Absolutely.
know where it is.
You don't die.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
even your mindset, you just said like with all of those things, and now you're like, oh, well, what else could we do? That only happens, that mindset
When you
shift,
take more.
where it goes from like, this is too much to like, oh, I could probably do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's where you don't get burnout anymore. Because
But
it's like, what
and
do
when
you
you give a
think
shit about it.
Yeah, when you care. Yeah.
And
yeah,
like, well, what's that thing? Like a task will always take the length of time that you give it.
yeah.
You only got 15 minutes to do it. You'll do it in 15 minutes. You got 5 hours. It takes 5 hours. Like that's been like my biggest lesson because putting more in front of you just means having a child was the best thing for my efficiency. I
Yeah.
swear. I don't recommend it as a method of
As a motivator.
no.
Or just in general.
Don't rate it. Like don't recommend that.
Don't
but
do
like
the kids thing.
but yeah, I don't like you really don't know what you're capable of until you have more
Correct.
things in your day to tick off because
Absolutely.
you've got no other fucking choice
Yeah.
but to do it.
Just figure it out.
And if you fall over, you fall over. Like, it's like, oh,
You just
what if I get
communicate.
burnt out? It's
Yeah,
like,
I
that's
think
not a death sentence.
People are more scared of that than they are of trying to see if they fall.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, if immerse yourself in a community where you see failure as a lesson and, you know, a way of developing, it's like I believe you'll exceed that other person, you know, exponentially.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, because you're just going to be able to absorb more. Yeah,
Can make a big change of direction in the topic.
absolutely.
Because that was supposed to be half the time I thought that was. It was a very good conversation though. I enjoyed it. So the other thing that I had on my pre-prepared, because I'm 20 IQ points higher now because
Yeah.
I prepared for the episode.
Proud of you.
We even gave you more time by talking to prepare even further.
Yeah, I've been doing just like programming. what I'm
Your
gonna-
brain is swelling out of the head right
yeah,
now.
I'm so smart.
You're going to need new headphones soon.
So this other thing that I'm working on at the moment requires me, I think, to use LinkedIn.
Oh yeah,
Do you have a LinkedIn account?
I do. You know I do.
Yeah.
But I've never used it.
Do you?
It looks like Facebook.
I think I do.
Yeah.
I
I think everyone's answer is that. I think so. Do you
I've
use
got
it
one
work?
for corporate,
Yeah.
not as a coach.
Yeah. So
I saw your profile picture on the Canva.
Oh, like, what's this?
I see everything that you're working on, bro.
Yeah. I'm not gonna start fucking
Jace is, or the little J in
Yeah.
the top right hand corner. Of
Yeah,
the
the
Yeah.
all-seeing eye of Canva.
Yeah.
You want to know what's
Yeah.
going on with the business?
Yeah, everyone can see everyone's shit.
And
Like,
he's got the
that's
he's got their account, so I'm like, can't even
Your team
just
leader.
hide it somewhere.
it. Yeah, nah, I'm the fucking boss.
yeah. I have to make it all my actual content
Sorry,
somewhere else. So
So I'm not judging you.
I've been
a little bit.
Publicly.
sort of investigating like how to like do sales and marketing through LinkedIn basically, because I don't want to change my Instagram profile because that obviously is required to run the current businesses that I and we have. So I think I'm also going to use Facebook because I've never made a personal training sale on Facebook, so I'm just going to use that as well.
Yeah.
But I listened to obviously like go-to is like find a podcast of someone who's an expert in LinkedIn and let's find out what the go is.
Yep.
And the way she sort of explained it was LinkedIn is like going to a conference and then you meet the people and then you interact with the people and then your goal is to like share an idea that they deem interesting and then you can create a relationship.
Yep.
And obviously in terms of like what LinkedIn's primary use is like being recognized, being headhunted, finding jobs, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
More so than it is like for someone to go and
Sales.
try and sell something.
Yeah.
So it was just really interesting the way she broke it down over an hour, which I'm not going to do. But just like the idea that go and find people who are in the space that you are interested in, inside the niche that you are interested in. And instead of trying to sell them something, present your ideas and see what people think.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It's so simple.
it just in my head, it was like the gears just went clunk.
Yeah.
Like, And then I was like, so we're old enough to not use Instagram. We're old people. So we used to actually put our content out through Facebook. And that's what Facebook used to be. Because you couldn't just have a piece of content go out to fucking 10,000 people.
Yeah.
You had to start a page, you had to invite all your friends, and your friends had to actually engage with it because it was good and comment on it, and then it would get shown to their friends, and maybe your page gets recommended to follow, and that's how you actually built your Lane Nortons and all of the OGs. That's how they built their presence, and a little bit through YouTube, of course, as well. But YouTube's kind of the same idea. It's like, I'm going to just put my ideas out, and then people that are interested in my ideas are going to engage with them, and the more people that are interested in the way I've presented, in the idea itself and the way I've presented it, that it's going to reach more people.
Yeah.
I think, looking at the space right now, I don't know if you guys are seeing it, but everyone's complaining about reach. My threads is just like Instagram reach fucking this, Instagram reach that. Like I've got 10,000 followers and 400 people see my reels and blah, 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 blah. Everyone's like, Instagram's not pushing shit out. Personally, I think it's actually a behavior because Instagram has the Reels function. I went through mine the other day because I'm not on my phone as much because dad things. And I was like, there was posts from the three of you that I was liking from like 4 days ago. And I'm like,
Yeah, I saw that.
fuck, I'm like I look at like 4 stories and then I go to Reels. I don't even swipe my own timeline anymore.
Oh, really?
Because
Nah,
it's like,
yeah, I don't relate to that though.
yeah,
Like
but,
I don't look at my reels.
I never look at.
I
just
don't go
reels.
into that wormhole. I only look at the people I follow.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
same.
I think obviously based on the
Is that the Reels
engagement,
page?
yeah,
Yeah, I
where you
ne-
can just swipe
I
through.
Reels
never
tab.
do that.
Yeah, I think the TikTok
I
generation
never get there either.
are just doing that. They're treating it this, or enough people are doing that no one's liking our stuff anymore.
Yeah,
Because
well,
like people aren't actually scrolling through it. It's like I can go to a hyper curated thing about exactly what I want to know about right now, or I can, for me, go on my feed and see another fucking. There's 80 calories in an empty fucking chocolate egg. It's like, fuck off. Talk to me about something else. So I think we've been lucky to have exposure inside Instagram for a period of time where you could walk into Instagram and deliberately, actively try and sell stuff. And it would work. If engagement is continuously trending down, and whether it's algorithm or whether it's just client behavior, that is starting to shift, I think. So what we were doing 5 years ago doesn't work now. In terms of just like, here's a thing, buy our stuff. Here's a thing, buy our stuff.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So what do we do?
So I'm thinking, if we look at the way every other social media platform is, you just have to present the best ideas, and you have to do it with the intent of connecting with other people, not with the intent of selling a thing. And it's like, if I present enough good ideas and I have a product on the end of it, people will eventually buy the product.
Yeah.
Because I think people, like now, personal trainers will sit down and be like, all right, what do I need to post to get a client?
Yeah.
I
Not
don't
sit
do a lot
down-
of selling.
Not sit down and think, what do I think about periodization for hypertrophy? And I'm going to write a post about that. And then other people that are interested in like hypertrophy are going to interact with that. And then cool, over time, like you still have to do the sales element, the CTAs, the call to, like the thing at the bottom and all that sort of shit still needs to be in there.
Yeah.
But I think most PTs come from, and this is shown by the prolific fucking calorie swap thing
Yeah.
that maybe people do. My clients don't give a shit.
Yeah, we don't train those type.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wonder if anyone
There-
does.
Yeah.
Because
Even
every
the-
time...
Now,
even-
there are more people that are not like our clients than people that are like our
Yes,
Yeah.
but every time I do a consult that someone has an Instagram page with one of them a week, I'm like, how many leads do you get? Like 0.
Yeah.
I've never put on an online client. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
so this isn't working.
Yeah.
So if
I think people like those videos, but I don't think the people that like those videos are going to pay for
pay
coaching.
for online coaching,
Yeah.
correct?
And
Because that's where you
yeah.
see the pages that have the the big followings and stuff.
With
I'm
no
like,
clients.
yeah, well, I'm like, how many people are buying your product? then?
Yeah.
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 So if then you flip that to, say, the Easter calorie swap thing, right? If you swap that to, this is what I think about managing training, nutrition, family, whatever, over the Easter period, and you create a piece of content and put it out there just like, this is what I think, I think that does way better than if I post calorie swaps, people want to train with me.
Yeah.
Because you put no
Yeah.
thought into that idea. You just grabbed it from somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So I wonder, yeah, if we need to, the hack, for lack of a better term, at the moment is just going back to what ideas do I have? What do I think is really important that I see problems other people have that I can solve with this thought?
Yeah.
I like it because I'm like 95% opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if
It's
you have a client
easier.
base as well, like you just lean into your mindset and thought process that you're curating through them as well,
Mm.
Yeah.
which helps when you have a
That's-
client base. Because that's what I do. I just talk in a way that I want the rest of my guys to think.
Yeah.
That's why I was just like, here's how to navigate Easter. Stick to your fucking diet if you're competing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're not,
Don't.
be a fucking grown up.
Yeah.
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 Enjoy it or don't, but live
Yeah.
with the consequences. Be done with it. And then all my clients, like, I know they're just going to sit there and go, cool.
Yeah.
This is how I think, and this is how
Yeah.
I behave. So I'm going to operate.
I think
that way.
I think a lot of personal trainers are sitting down thinking about what I should post to get
Oh, yeah.
clients
Yeah.
rather than going, this is what I'm talking about this week.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have this,
It's a scarcity thing, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like if I just put out ideas without specifically trying to get a client, what if I don't get any clients?
yeah,
Yeah, or it's like if I'm going to unpack something that I feel strong about, what if someone comes for me?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like that's
yeah. What if the
that's
idea is wrong?
yeah, and that's appealing. Or what if someone challenges me because they disagree? It's like,
Yeah.
well,
Good.
man, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you can't be friends with everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
I
because
think
you
that-
don't stand out anymore.
Yeah.
You're friend zoned across everyone on Facebook
yeah.
or Instagram or whatever.
So to give a bit of context, and this is something that I've been playing with. So where I was going with that is I think trainers think about cooler shit during the week than what they post.
Oh,
For
absolutely.
all the
Yeah.
reasons you just said. So this week I had 2 of my clients. One of them's brand new. One of them's just competed, and we're working on some stuff that have like chronic repeat lower back pain. And I was like, they've both got massive glutes, tiny waist. I'm like, cool. You're gonna have like control issues.
Yeah.
Like your hips and your torso are not communicating in the way they should, and that's why you have lower back issues. Like, give them heaps of single leg work. Send me all your lower body training for the week. Let me have a look at it. And they were both perfect.
Mm.
One of them I had to change a few extension things, and I was like,
Yeah.
what has happened here?
Mm.
This is really interesting. Then the power lifter, we missed the deadlift at her comp, and there was a huge breakdown in just her ability to control her lats. And I was like, so we already had in the back of our mind, lats need to be a big point of development for you to be able to stabilize in that position. And then I was like, when you do everything else, your lats aren't working. So you're shrugging and you're reaching when you RDL and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, so it's actually coming from a lack of trunk control because your lats are way weaker than your fucking insanely developed lower body. And then the new client I put on, I was like, your biggest, for lack of a better term, she was comfortable with the explanations. Like, her weakness in her physique is her back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so it's no surprise that you can't stabilize heavy loads because that's a big part of your trunk stabilizer not working. So I could talk about that, or I could go lower back pain. I'm going to make a post about that so people want to come work with me.
Yeah.
What's more interesting is like, if you have lower back pain, have you thought about this, and this? This is what I think.
Yeah.
Versus like,
or do you have big glutes and your back hurts?
You got a fat ass and a sore back.
yeah.
From carrying around that dump truck.
Do I have a fucking solution to you?
That's a good line. I don't mind that.
Yeah. So you still layer in
But you're not
the
making
attractive headline and all
Yeah.
of that, but it's like I could just as easily at the end of this week go, the problem that my clients have is they don't eat enough protein. Cool.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to put out because that's what 17 other personal trainers put out, and that's what sells online coaching versus like, hey, I've got this really novel concept for me that I've never really thought of, that a lot of lower back pain for these bikini-esque girls that have really developed lower bodies maybe have weak lats, and that's what part of the problem is.
Yeah.
Which one's more interesting?
Yeah. And if you make the post about back pain, like, my back hurts.
Yeah.
But I don't want to fucking listen to you talk about it if you're talking about having a fat ass dumpy as
Yeah.
well. But if you just put the post about back pain,
Yeah.
it's like you're gonna get people like me reading your post, and it's like you don't want to
That's
coach
not
people
gonna-
like me.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I think another
Part of the problem.
important thing to note as well is like the people that you and I coach, which are on paper very similar, versus the people that Jason coach. People that we coach, being mainly women, we, because I am the people that we coach, literally, we care about the journey. We care about the person. We care about the story. And that's what we want to know. So I'm going to read that because I'm like, oh, it's like me. Or like, there's more detail to it. We're yappers. We use more words than we need to. And we like reading stories. Your clients are like, all right, cool. He got that result by doing that. I want a bigger upper back. I'm going to do those fucking shrugs. Like, chest supported on the incline. I saw those. They look cool. And it's like, cool. Obviously understanding your audience and like the language it uses is most important. But I don't think one thing that'll never go out of date on social media ever is being yourself.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Like that, like at the bottom line, because every personal trainer gets that fear of being themselves and showing up with themselves online. Then they hate everyone they coach because they don't get along with them as a person. Like, despite all these trends and the algorithm and whatever, it's like, it's never, ever out of a trend. God, I sound like a mother. Like, it's never uncool to not be yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you have to show up as yourself regardless online. And like,
It's always on brand.
I'd say a lot of
Always.
them don't
Personal
even know who that
branding.
is.
Yeah. And that's
Sometimes.
that's a whole other
We've talked.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just before we go there, so jumping on to Jace's, like, your girls want the story and they want this, 90% of people in the hypertrophy world will go, here's 3 exercises to build your back.
Yeah.
And it's boring as fucking batshit and everyone does it.
Yeah.
If Jace goes, got this idea about a chest-supported Smith machine shrug that carries over better than the dumbbells, blah, 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 it doesn't have to be long. Like, I think you just posted it as like, I found this be fucking amazing for my back or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a thought that he's had during the week.
It's
or over
personalizing
time
the idea.
That's like, this is an idea that I have that I think sharing with people would be useful. Not how do I sell people personal training.
based on this
The people I train want bigger backs, so I'm going to talk about bigger backs.
Yeah.
I think an important distinction on that as well, it's just popped into my head, is that I think a lot of personal trainers avoid saying a certain thing because they don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
And we get into this like, here's the 3 best exercises or whatever, which is very black and white. Either is the best or it's not, right? You can't really be incorrect with an idea. So it actually probably will
you
encourage
freedom.
them to post because it's like, hey, I've been having this thought. It seems to be working well for my back, blah, blah, blah. Like, be very hard to come at someone for that. To be like, you're wrong. It's like, well, I didn't really say
It's a
It's
safe.
working for
I
me.
was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's working for me. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
must
that's
be
I
something
think
to it.
you say it like I think you say it all the time. Like even like with evidence based and blah blah blah. It's like, well, if you can prove it and you've done it with all your clients,
Yeah,
then it's a fact as well. Like
Yeah.
anecdotal evidence is
Correct.
still evidence. Like
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I hope the take home isn't you have to write stories and express thoughts and write long form content and shit like that. The idea of what you're going to post, get it to come from theories, thoughts, ideas you have that help your client, not from how do I sell to my client. And that's where the distinguishing factor comes, and where you can lean into being yourself and having your own opinion and having your own thoughts about the stuff, and then putting that out and getting interaction.
Yeah.
Again, it's like now you're going to get the people that are also interested in the same shit as you. The way Jace thinks about training upper back is different to the way I think about training upper back. So the ideas is going to have different. It's going to stand out from all the other trainers who aren't confident enough to have original thought, that don't have original thought yet, or won't share it, and they're like, fuck, Jace is like, I'm gonna try that, and they go to the gym, they're like, fuck, got the best trap pump ever, and like now I want to work with Jace.
Yeah.
Just it's the lens of the difference of creating a post based on trying to get a sale at some point down the line versus creating a post based on sharing some information you think is interesting and or valuable that will still help your client, and you can still post, like the heading can still be got a sore back from carrying your dump truck, and then go into maybe it's your lats. You can still use all of those strategies, but where the idea comes from, I think, is important, and the intent needs to be to create a community of people that are interested in your ideas.
Yeah.
And then you will get sales because they're interested in your ideas and the way you do things. Being another generic coach, posting another generic thing that everyone fucking talks about is why so many people are struggling to grow in a environment that's so much harder to grow than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah. Mic drop.
So we went everywhere then.
That was big.
Good luck wrapping
Yeah.
that one.
That was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that intro is going to be fun.
I know.
I hope you enjoyed the intro at the start. You can see how stressed I am about
What the fuck did we just talk about?
10-minute intro.
Yeah. It's going to need 10 minutes to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I blacked out for a lot of that. I couldn't tell you what we fucking spoke about.
Yeah. That's okay.
Wait, we spent like 40 minutes on the Loz question about the pyramid scheme in business. That felt like
God, I'm
3
gonna get
years ago.
Fuck. It's been nice working, guys.
Yeah. Hit the subscribe button.
Yep.
Share the episode. Don't screenshot it. Hit the share button because otherwise the screen goes black.
Yep.
All the details to find all of us are in the buttons. To work with all of us, just go to the website. There's also heaps of free shit on the website, both on fit for training and stuff. There's sleep guide, muscle guide, and then there's the value compass is still available on the STC Learn thing. So just go stcfit.com. You'll find everything there. I think we're back over 1,000 subs.
Amazing.
Yeah, you dirty dogs. Who unsubscribed?
Yeah,
Well, they're not going
I've-
to. We're not going to be following us. So
I
they won't
promised forehead kisses for everyone that followed. We got a few
Yeah.
followers.
Who's
I
got
reckon
time to unsubscribe from
I reckon
anything?
they got their kiss and fucked off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking dogs.
Yeah, it could have just been an old follower, but who knows?
know. Yeah.
I don't care.
All
I take it
right.
personally.
We don't want them.
Thanks for making the trip out, girls, and we will see you next week.
Bye.